2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN.
Welcome back to the GTR 24H EEWC round number 3, 12 hours of Sebring. What a start it's been. But truth alive, it has been absolutely action-packed. This is what happened to Damien Scovron earlier. So lead of the LMP1s, catching up with the Unison Racing, getting past the Unison Racing car, and then the tail just decides, I want to brake for a second, and nearly bounces off the side of the 7-9 axle car. That would be Alistair Young that he nearly collected there. Now we did see what looked like they did come together a few laps ago. That wasn't what put them in each other's proximity, but that certainly wouldn't have helped. There's Tom Kapusta in the 264 Satellite Racing car. Who's he on the back of? That's not Gerd. Oh yes it is, that's Gerd Nilsson in the GT3 188 Telefor-Endingen BMW.
Well done, Mr. Buxton.
Well, I didn't get shouted at from production, so I must have done it right. So there we go. So again, this isn't for position, but they're both actually at the tail end of their respective classes, so they may as well just have a fight and have some fun out there. Why the devil not? As we ride on board with the BMW. the highlights from the first hour. That's the sound. Just again, that's how the start looked, and this was why it was so frantic for production to try and keep up with. Just everybody so close together, as you always get, of course, at the beginning of a race. But it was so relentless, wasn't it? For absolutely ages, which was great fun for us. As the main picture switches back to, Jimmy Nuttall is he ahead of Mitchie? Where's Mitchie gone? Well,
there's a moment there for Jimmy Nuttall, and we'll go to a replay now and see what happened to Jimmy Nuttall. And so Michi Hoyer battling away. So Nuttall was ahead as they then made their way up towards the hairpin turn. You see Nuttall goes defensive going in there, and you see the rear locks on him. So he loses that back end, and Michi Hoyer says, "Thank you very much. I'll take that one away from you."
3.5 seconds the difference now between the top DPI cars. That's the biggest gap they've had all race long so far. So yeah, that's not ideal, but I think that kind of puts to bed the theory that they're working together, because Jimmy Nuttall would probably quite enjoyed the fact that he was actually finally ahead of Michi Hoyer, but then unfortunately that undid itself very shortly afterwards. Look at that great battle we had. That's the 717 Unison car that was side by side with someone heading into the car. Oh, DeVille! Oh, that's Sebastian DeVille trying to get past Nabil Aslan in the 79 Axel LMP2. So again, that's not for class position. The 33 car had a terrible start. Now is at the back. Has worked its way through position-wise of the GT cars, and now is trying to figure a way past the LMPs, because there's not such a huge pace difference between the LMPs. Now the highlight you can see in the top right, that's where the CKR car decided to try and leave the circuit. I mean, it gave the barrier a fair clunk. As far as I know, he's not been in the pits with that, so he's done very, very well. Lucas Vela's done very, very well to get back up into third. He's got a bit of distance to catch up with Marseille Kaspersky in the number 585 Azatec Audi. But he's going absolutely great guns. Fair play for that. He's on board with DeVille, trying to figure his way past Nabil Aslan. As again, as a reminder, they're not on different laps. That's the same racing lap they're on, so there's no kind of blue flag obligation for Nabil Aslan to have to obey. Yes, they're in different classes, but yeah, the racing rule allows them to do it, and DeVille should be able to power past the LMP2. Whilst the pace difference isn't huge, it should be enough along the straight here, and you can see he's grabbing all the slipstream he can. This should be the opportunity then. There he goes. But he needed all the slipstream of the entire back straight to actually get that one done. So DeVille then has dispatched one of the LMP2s. He's got another 3 to go. He's only got about 4-ish seconds to gain to the next one. The LMP2 class hasn't spread out too far, comparatively speaking. So Sebastian DeVille going great guns to try and get back up with his classmates, but still some distance to go. Michael Peterson is in the 166 ID Simsport car from 4th in the GTEs. I suspect it's a scheduled stop.
I have to say, Chris, I'm really surprised from production here, because they put the highlights from the last hour in the top right. I'm just surprised they haven't just played back the last hour in full, because that's how much action there was. Yeah, it's just absolutely non-stop in this first hour. It has calmed down slightly, thank goodness for production. They were working overtime to try and keep up with everything. Has calmed down slightly since then. We see one of the GT cars, I believe that's a Telefoningen racing machine, making its way out onto the circuit once again, the 188, and there is Alvaro Incausti, the 27 MCM motorsport car, into the pits.
Yeah, so the GTEs, I suspect the GT3s probably won't be far behind them either. Looks like it's scheduled stop. There is trouble for our GT3 leader. The Mugen Racing number 82, Christy Kianik, is in the garage. Whoa, no, what has happened to the 82 car? I'm just having a look to see if the 82 team is disconnected, and I don't see that they have. So that is trouble for our GT, and they were quite some distance in the lead of the class as well. They were in the top 3 of the GTEs, let alone leading the GT3s. So trouble for the 82 car. At this rate, we're going to have nobody left by the end of the race. We don't want to lose a third car from this event.
Well, no, absolutely. I mean, it's just a nightmare for them so far. Meanwhile, we've got the one of the Mustos into the pits. It's the 54, Manuel Biancolila, coming into the pits to serve a stop. And there is what is right now the GT3 leader, Maciej Kasprzyk, who comes in for the 585 Aztec Sim Sports by Volante Racing Machine. And now up onto the jacks, change of tyres here. So for the GTEs and the GT3s, they can run just over an hour, it looks like, roughly. So, but the DPIs, the hypercars, now they've got a smaller fuel tank and they go through fuel quite a bit quicker than the LMP2 counterparts. So that's something they have to really watch on and keep an eye on this race. I mean, 35-40 minutes was all that Michi Hoyo decided to run before he decided to come into the pits. Christopher Kanik is now back out on track, but not looking good so far as the CKR car now comes into the pits. Lucas Vela, it's been a whirlwind stint for him, but he's now in to serve his first, what should be, scheduled stop. And now, Chris, they'll be able to have a look at that damage and see how long it'll take to fix it.
We now have two windows in windows there. I just had a thought of there were that many highlights. We were going to get that many highlights from the last hour window all popping up over the stream there, but nope. We're just keeping an eye on what is, strictly speaking, now our GT3 leader. Well, actually, our GT3 leader, strictly speaking, is actually the Gadget Husa car. Steven Salsgaard hasn't brought his car in yet, so he does lead the way. But there is the 717 Unison racing car, lead of the GTE class. Most people, just kind of serving their stops now. Lucas Vela, are they back up? No, they're still in the pits at the moment. So there, I suspect they're going to be for a little while. This will be an opportunity for the Viaducton car to actually get past some of the GTEs or GT cars, but like you say, they'll have to pit again. They are thirsty creatures, the DPI cars. Out comes Lucas Vela. Is he still in third? Yeah, by quite some way, actually. So great effort there for CKR. So either the damage wasn't as bad as we thought it was, or they've opted not to repair the car at the moment. We will see. Out comes next few cars. So that is we've had a driver change for the 54. That's now Giordano Valeriano. I can't get that right. I will rehearse that a few times. Valeriano in the 54 car, being chased out by Henri Hoyer in the 404 Glam Racing. There's Max Milovic still in charge of the 717. So they are, where are they now? They're slightly further down the field. There he is. The name I can't pronounce properly, Giordano Valeriano. I'm sure I'm making every Italian wince with that.
You're getting good at that, Giordano Valeriano.
There's a lot of syllables in that.
There's quite a few syllables, but then again, there's a lot of syllables in my name, so I can't really say anything. So there you go. That's that then. Production shouting at our ear, who apparently fluent in Italian, shouting at us there. But we've seen then the Unison Racing Machine come into the pits and rejoin in second place. Now, this is not a battle for position. This is a battle to put a lap on the ID SimSport 166 machine, but they've also got behind them a production car making its way through, which it does. Here comes the Unison car, again looking up the inside. No obligation for the ID SimSport car to come in. And here comes Team Adrenaline, I believe. No, sorry, Jimmy Nisela is into the pits for the Miranda Sea Stars.
Indeed. A bit earlier than I was expecting, but again, they don't last too long at absolute full crank. So they'll be seeing the pit lane many times over the course of the race. As we ride on board with... This was Jimmy's spin. That's what it looked like from his perspective. Yeah, just locked up just at the crucial moment there as he was committing to the inside line at Tower, and then a lag moment sees his car try and bury itself into the grass.
To be honest, I think his car was trying to bury his head in the sand. I think he was as well, to be honest. But it's still a long way to go. And just leaving that braking just slightly too late locks the rear, and unfortunately around the car went. But nothing major, and kind of looks like a scheduled stop. Timings, yeah, it probably is a scheduled stop there, because there it goes. There it leaves the pit lane. Denis Eschenko, he's had a very eventful race as well, having been behind 2 and 3 LMP2 cars at the very start of the race, having been on the outside of turn 1 thanks to a 7.9 axle car. But here comes the 777 into the pit lane to serve its first pit stop of the race, and it comes in leading the class, but everybody else behind has stopped already. Christopher Kianek, I believe, is now back into the race. Yes, they are lapping and they are recording those lap times again. So they've rejoined and they're in 7th place in class. So that's going to be hugely frustrating for Kianek because, as you said, they looked comfortable and out there, and here comes Michi Hoyer into the pits.
Excellent stuff. So who is going to come out on top then for the DPIs? Well, there was a 3-second gap, well, 3.5-second gap between the two following Jimmy Nissler's spin. We'll see if that is the case after this particular stop. As we look at one of the chasing Astons there. Which one is that? As ID Sim Sports, I think it is.
I'm just going to report there's a penalty going out here to Christopher Kianek and the Mugen Sim Racing team, a stop and go 60-second penalty for not announcing the rejoin. Now, in the rules and regulations, if you disconnect and rejoin, you have to alert race control that you are rejoining the circuit. If you don't, you are subject to that very, very, very draconian penalty of a stop and go 60-second penalty. So just to add salt into the wounds, if you don't let race control, you know you're rejoining the track, rejoining the race, even bigger penalty to shoulder as well. So that's going to send them way, way down the field and way, way behind the B32 racing car ahead of it. But that's a nice battle going on. It might be for different classes, but still, let's watch on.
Absolutely, they're not shy to give it plenty. It's the Gadget Husik car on the inside line, and now going to tuck behind the Porsche. Is he going to stay there, or is the Porsche going to run off into the distance? We will see. I'm also keeping an eye on progress of our DPI top 2. What's the gap between them? As the Gadget Husik car now settling into its rhythm. Michi Hoyer still ahead. That gap's now about 4 seconds, give or take, between Michi Hoyer and Jimmy Nissler. So that gap's extended very, very slightly. James D'Souza in the Sapphire Racing number 164 LMP2 is working his way past the DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche. Is our now GT3 leader Marcel Kaspersik in the 585 Audi, the Aztec Sinsports by Volante Racing car. That is basically sandwiched in a very awkward position there, because right ahead of him is Alvaro Incusti, and behind him, well, on track, is actually now up to second, is Lucas Vela, but that's about 30 seconds behind as far as position is concerned. So I'm not sure which car was actually directly behind our GT3 leader. That's the 32 car, isn't it?
B32 racing.
Yeah, that's the B32.
And Glam Racing is that Glam Racing?
No,
sorry.
that's
Kianek, is it? Possibly.
That is Kianek. Yes, well spotted. Oh, that looked like a lag moment there. Is Alvaro Incusti has had a bit of a moment there, and the Audi's shot through. Are we going to see a replay of what happened to him? Oh, what's happened to Michael Ciccolini, who's now taken over the Gadget Husik car? So Steven Salsgaard has handed that over. Has he had a bit of a moment through Sunset Bend? No wonder. Yep, he's introduced his car to the wall. So Michael Ciccolini, having just taken over the car, has already bounced it off the tyres. That's very close between Deuces and Satellite. That's never comfortable being side by side through Sunset Bend, let's be honest. Was that for position?
It was.
Yes, that is for second, I believe. Yes, second place in the LMPs.
Yeah, and Juba down the inside there, making that look easy. It is not easy whatsoever. But yeah, getting down the inside, getting second place and making that position his. And I do wonder if we can just have a look at the weather radar, because I have some good news for these drivers. It's looking good. You see in the bottom left-hand corner, bone dry. Absolutely bone dry. No rain to be seen for the foreseeable. So that's going to be a huge encouragement for these drivers as the temperature will start rising and rising. The rising temperatures, track temperature is 25 degrees now, air temperature is 22, so things are going to get stepped up a little bit, so tyre wear might be a little bit of a concern later on as we head towards this sort of midday sun. But for now, looking good for the drivers, looking dry so far, as we see here. That's Sebastian Deville in the Team Adrenaline machine into the pit lane.
It is indeed. Now bouncing his way out. So he's still trying to make up time. Oh no, trouble for the 82 car. That's caused a yellow flag. Christian Kianik in the 82 to Mugensen Racing car is out there some way stationary, according to my timing screen. So he's had an incident, or has he had another? Yeah, it's another disconnect for the 82. Oh no, that's terrible news for them. Our initial GT3 leaders having terrible luck then at this stage of the race. Oh dear, oh dear. We've still got 10 3/4 hours to go, and sadly that may well be not necessarily the end of the road, but it is not looking good for the 82 car. We've already lost the Team Iris number 77 and the other Mugen Racing car, the GTE car, that was in charge, being piloted by Roland Sukes at the time. So might we see the other Mugen car disappear from the session? We will see. There is Henri Coyer on the back of the Gadget Husic car. It has got Michael Ciccolini on board. So that's a battle for third in the GT3 class, of which 6 cars remain in that particular class now. The Audi's pretty much... Henri Coyer has been... That's kind of getting on with it, really. He's been really quite quick and consistent, and because the consistency being king in an endurance race, outright pace does help, obviously, but it's no good if you're chucking it off the road every few seconds. Not that I've been known to do that. There's no evidence of it.
It's weird you bring that up, Mr. Buxton. Very weird indeed.
Yes, I don't know why I made that comment. Also, keeping an eye on the DPI gap, that lead gap is 2.1 seconds now between the two DPIs. This is Kianik on his disconnect, so we're going to see his car start to misbehave in a minute. There he goes, and stop. Yeah, that's what happens when... That's the only way to get your car back to the pits in a hurry, but it's such a long-winded way to do it that we wouldn't recommend it as a viable option. As we now look at the CKR car that Lucas Vela is still piloting up into second now in the GT3s. Darius Andre in the 15 Producers Motorsport LMP2. That's Sebastian Deville in the 33 DPI car directly ahead of him. There's Henri Coyer again. That's the last podium step battle for the GT3, still raging on. And so we're well over an hour now into the race, and we've still got really, really close on-track position battles going on.
Great to see, isn't it? Really, really good to see one team that has got their heads down and really trying to push on. Aztec Sim Sports by Volante, Maciej Kasperczyk at the moment just putting in the good lap times so far, but take nothing away from Lucas Vela, who started his second stint in the CKR, the Brazilian flagged embedded McLaren. A really tough start to the race, but my goodness, has he bounced back. He's within 16 seconds roughly of the leader in the class, and considering where that car was about 5 minutes into this race, a really splendid job there. There's Henri Coyer just giving way to, I believe that was one of the satellite 2 cars there, to make his way through. But of course, Henri Coyer is in this battle now, because there goes Denis Shevchenko in the Unison Racing machine up the inside. Henri Coyer obviously wants to try and close into the Gadget who sit right up ahead. He knows he's trying to get onto that pace. He knows he can try and close into Michael Ciccolini. But the problem is that now when you come to traffic, yes, there's traffic for the production cars and the hypercars where you're trying to negotiate your way through. But as a GT car, you've got traffic just emerging and trying to get the move past you and possibly interrupting your flow, possibly interrupting your battles. So on both sides of the coin, it's a challenge, these lap scenarios. It's a huge challenge, and it's a huge mental challenge, especially when you're already fatigued, when you've gone quite a way into your stint. And we have seen fatigue really does affect decision making, and one wrong decision and 1 split second of the wrong decision or a bit of hesitancy could end in tears.
Very, very true. And it's not always your own mistake you may well be caught up in. If somebody else falls victim to all of the above and you just happen to be in the way, that could be all your team's hard work absolutely panned. But that is the nature of endurance racing, isn't it? That is part of the appeal, is driver against not just the machine but also the clock and generally other people's machinery and mistakes as well. So that's what we love about endurance racing, as we ride on board with our GT3 leader 585 Aztec Sim Sports Audi, currently being piloted by Marcel Kaspersky. And Henrik Hoyer still attached to the back of the DSR Gadget Huset car. Michael Ciccolini is in charge of the Corvettes, so doing what he can to fend off the advances of that gorgeous purple and black Audi. Again, we make no apologies, or I make no apologies for liking certain liveries more than others. Oh, I wondered if he was going to have a look there. It's certainly doable at that particular point in the circuit, but opted not to go for it. That's the Satellite Racing. Which one of the Satellite Racing cars is that? That's Tom Kapusta in the 264 car. Now fifth in the GTEs, as that's the Burst car that's just gone past him. Oh, there's still the GT3 fight going on, and again, that's not showing any signs of slowing down whatsoever. The DPI gap's now gone up to 4 seconds, so again, that's just traffic playing its part in making that gap rise and fall. So Jimmy Nussler is second in the DPIs now, as we are looking at... That's one of the Burst cars, I think, we are looking at. I suspect that's the LMP2 Burst car. Oh, there's the Teleforeningen 188 BMW just being passed. Again, minding his own business. And into the pit comes... That's also an LMP2 car. I suspect that is the SEM9 car. Is it? Nope, that's not the SEM9 car whatsoever. That... yes, it was. I doubted myself. I actually got that one right and then called myself out. That's a talent. That's the 21 car. That's Nabil Aslan for SEM9 Axel, bringing the LMP2 lead car into the pits.
Yep, and that, I believe, yes, this is Rasmus Andreasen in the 94 Burst Esports Gooder Sunglasses, third in class at the moment. Satellite Racing about 15 seconds up the road at the moment. And trying to close in then. So we've got Nabil Aslan taking over from the SEM9 Axel car. But still going to be out there, so Schuber should be taking the lead of the class on this lap as he makes his way through. But at this point in the race there, you can see we've got the DPI standings at the moment. So Richie Hoyer in Burst Esports Complexity at the top of the order. Jimmy Nussler in the Miranda's E-Stars is in second place. The 17 Unison Racing Denis Shchenko at the wheel there in third place. SEM9 Axel, Alistair Young at the wheel in fourth place. Team Adrenaline with Sebastian Deville at the wheel in fifth place. And sixth place, Team Viductin after their really troubled start. Still in this race, 6 laps down on Richie Hoyer. To look at LMP2 then and see how this all unfolds for the moment. And if not, I can absolutely take you through some of these standings at the moment. We've just seen Rasmus Andreasen and Darius Andrade bring the car into it, so too Nabil Aslan. So with James Huber in the 164 Satellite, currently slightly out of sync, but still leading the way. I wonder, Mr. Buxton, if we're going to get the same with GTE and GT3. It just looks like the standings here just don't want to play ball, unfortunately. That's a shame, because I was looking forward to running through, but hey ho, it is what it is.
How dare they?
How dare they? How dare they? Oh, to us as well, Mr. Buxton. To us. I can't believe that.
It's just, do these standings not know who they're dealing with?
The standings are very rude. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
Well, James D'Souza in the 164 Satellite Racing car leads the way in MP2. We're now looking at the 94 car, now in the hands of Erasmus Andreasen, taking over the number 94. Damien Skovron handing that one over. And his point third in LMP2 is Darius Andre for Duties Motorsports, and fourth is Nabil Aslan for SEM9 Axel. GTE leader at the moment is Wojciech Polesny in the Duties of Motorsport number 74. Leads the way by about 15 seconds, give or take, from the 717 Unison Racing car that is currently being driven by Max Bunovic. And then another 32 seconds back is the... never mind about that. That's Rasmus Andreasen getting that slightly wrong.
Well, no, that was a bit of contact there, I believe, with that Team Adrenaline car in towards turn 1. Both of them somehow facing the right way still, but yeah, not great at all between the two of them. Maybe a slight lack of communication. You'll see here the Team Adrenaline car launching in towards turn 1. And then is there just a little bit of understeer here because the Erskine Esports sunglasses car, a little bit of contact made, and that just says to Sebastian Deville, just hold back a little bit, make sure there's a much clearer opportunity to make that move stick. And here he goes then. Will he try another move up the inside in towards the hairpin here? Not quite this time.
No, well spotted. Yeah, that was indeed not the fault of Rasmus Andreasen, as I initially thought. There was a bit of an understeer moment there from Sebastian Deville in the 33 Team Adrenaline car. So where did I get up to? The DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche in third in the GTEs. Then it is Eros Masiuli in the 53 Pescara car in fourth. Tom Kapusta for the 264 Satellite Racing Squad in fifth. Alvaro Inkiausti in the 27 MCM Motorsport car in sixth in GTEs. And the 54 Misto Pescara car, Giordano Valeriano, now has that one at the tail end, in seventh in the GTEs. Tail end of the GTEs at the moment is the ID Sim Sport number 166, currently being driven by Magnus Bergry. GT3s, it is still Marce Kaspersky in the 505 Azatec Sim Sports car. They've just set their race best lap, or not too long ago. So they're pressing on pretty well at the front of the GT3s. In second, it is the number 13 CKR car, currently being driven by Lucas Vela. Third is the 777 DSR Goethe Huset car, Michael Ciccolini on board with that one. 404 is the Glam Racing Audi, Henrik Hoyer currently driving that. Then fifth is Thomas Reinegard in the 188 Teleforening BMW, and at the tail end of the GT3s at the moment is the B32 racing car. They may well have had a driver change, but as unfortunately we don't know who is driving that at any one given time. We've lost 3 cars so far in this session, both of the Mugen Sim Racing cars, the 67 GTE car that was being driven by Ronan Sukes, and the 82 GT3 car that was leading the class at the time. Christopher Kianek has not returned in the Mugen Sim Racing number 82, and sadly we lost the Team Iris number 77 LMP2 car, so Benz Horvath, the victim of that particular one. We've yet to lose a DPI car, but one of each other class has fallen by the wayside so far. Tom Kapusta for Satellite Racing has brought the 264 car into the pits.
As indeed, and whilst he takes a pit stop, we'll take a pit stop too with a couple of commercial messages. So we'll be back after these.
The 2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Azatec Sim Sports, Global Flicks, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the digital snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN.
Welcome back to the GTR 24H EEWC round number 3 here. 12 hours of Sebring. I thought Henri Coyer was going to go exploring there, right behind the Gadget Hilton car, but no, managed to keep that one on the straight and narrow. 1.5 hours down and plenty of racing action still to come. Now, 3 cars may well have fallen by the wayside, but one of them is not. The 188 Teleforeningen, which I still can't pronounce correctly, BMW. But one driver from that particular team is happy to come and have a chat with us. That will be Gert Nielsen. Now, see if I can move Gert up with us so we can have a chat. Let's see, can I do this? Probably not, but we'll give it a go. Ah, somebody did it for me. Oh no, I've moved him. I've moved him twice. Production, help! I put him in the wrong place. Production will help me. Technology working very, very well. I've put him in completely the wrong place. Hang on, let me try and move him again.
Whilst we do that, we have Henri Coyer still on the back of the Gadget Hilton machine. Glam Racing trying to find their way up into third place. It's been a battle that's been going on for quite some time here, and it's Michael Ciccolini who's trying to defend that position. And has it worked? I think it has worked. We might be able to be joined by Gert Nielsen. Gert, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Excellent.
Yeah, fantastic to hear from you, Gert. I noticed you wanted to speak to us yesterday in qualifying, and it wasn't that we were rude and ignored you. It's just we couldn't have time. There was just so much going on. But a very, very hectic opening 90 minutes. How's it looking at your team, Teleforeningen?
Yeah, it's looking fine. I started the car this race, and a new experience for me. But I think it's good. We are get going, and we are not the fastest car, but hopefully we can stay on the black stuff and avoid accidents, and then see where we end.
Yeah, and it's been a bit of a full tale with the weather. We've been promised this weather, but being in Florida, it's not always easy to tell. But it's looking like it's dry running for now. How sort of on edge are you about any possible rain on the way? Is that something you're prepared for?
Yeah, we have been on the GTR 24H rain server, but I think it's difficult to say how it will do under the race, because I don't think it will rain as much as it do on the rain server. That's very tricky to drive on when it's very, very wet. And I hope if there come rain here, it's more normal, and when there are more cars on the track, there will be a little of a track round through the water, and so it's not so slippery.
And
But we will
obviously
see that.
yourselves and of course yourselves and Glam Racing are tied coming in towards Sebring today. I mean, it's going to be a great battle between the two of you, swapping positions at Matsusaka and Monza. How do you feel the season's gone so far then for Telefon?
We think it's going okay. We have, I think the reason we are fighting with the Glam Racing is that in the first race they were unlucky and got a disconnect. And in the second race, we had the same problem, and so that's why we are changed. It's hard to in these two races before we get the 3 laps penalty, and that's impossible to unless you get the disconnect in the first 30 minutes or so. So you have a good time to pick it up again. But we enjoyed the races, and we hope we can continue to have fun and do a good job.
Will we see you back in the car after a while, Gert, or is that your stint done?
No, we have to this race we have 4 drivers because some of the drivers can do only a little time, and then they have to go, and others can come in at a later time at the race. So we have one driver who is leaving us here at 6 o'clock, and another new driver coming in around 20 o'clock. So we are changed, but I'm coming in the cars later.
Excellent stuff. We very much look forward to seeing you back out there. Magnetak, Gert.
You're welcome, and have a nice race and a good commentary.
Oh, thank you very much. Very kind of you, sir. We've had a great time up here in the commentary box so far, and we look forward to the rest of the race. Farewell, Gert, and we will see you later. Thank you very much for your time,
bye-bye.
sir. For anyone wondering what I said, I tried to say thank you very much and farewell. Hopefully I didn't actually get that one incorrect.
Oh, absolutely. And if any of the other drivers want to have a chat to us, I believe we've got the green room in TeamSpeak. So if you hop into there, we can drag you in to have a chat with you if you so wish. So there you go. But it's great to hear from Gert, one of the starting a race for the first time this season. That can't be a very, very... that must be a nerve-wracking process, starting one of these endurance races, because it's up to you to make sure the car gets through the first kilometres at least. Oh, there's the semi-wide axle car going very, very wide there. Just interrupted myself there, Chris, just casually.
Again, it's a talent we commentators have, and you did it expertly well. But yeah, it's absolutely terrifying being... some drivers really relish in it, and I'm sure that these drivers are very, very experienced in their own machinery and what have you. They're used to having to deal with the pack being that closely condensed. But of course, in endurance racing, you practice for, as the names would suggest, endurance, going a long way, pacing yourself over the course of 3, 6, 10, 12, 24 hours, whatever length of race you're doing. Obviously, we're doing 12 hours in this particular round. So that's what you mainly practice for. So sometimes it gets forgotten about to practice the start or when the pack is very, very heavily condensed. So, they did a great job just keeping out of trouble. As Gert said, they may not be the quickest out there. They were actually at the back of the GT3 field, so that actually may well have played into their hands a little bit because they were at the tail end of the field. They avoided the early carnage whilst no one barreled into the wall. Well, the viaducting car had that technical issue slightly later in the lap, but they may well have been in a great position to avoid issues going on, and they've got the B32 car behind them now, but they're looking to just carry on going, just keeping that level of consistency up. They've got Thomas Brenegard in there at the moment, who's setting some pretty decent times again, a couple of tenths apart, lap on lap, so doing exactly what he needs to do. The Teleforeningen car is doing very, very well.
Your Danish is really coming along, Mr. Buck. Well,
all 5 words of it. Yeah.
All 5 words. It's 5 more words that I can speak of it. That's for sure. Again,
production didn't shout at me, so and Gert responded in the way that would be correct. So Magnetak means thank you very much is what that means.
At least as well, he didn't storm out, because if you'd have said that and he stormed out, then maybe you got your Danish wrong.
Yeah,
so that's a good sign.
I've accidentally insulted his mother or something.
Exactly.
That's always the thing I'm worried about when I look up. I don't know these few phrases off the top of my head. Well, some of them I know off the top of my head, but I generally look up what they mean. So sometimes I just think, I really hope that I've been given the correct translation from Google Translate on that one. But Magnetak I knew from my previous travels in Denmark many, many years ago. So that one I was pretty confident on, but that doesn't mean I say them correctly.
Well, yes, I was taught Tusentak, so yeah, pretty much the same thing, really. Many thanks, 1,000 thanks.
Thank you. So.
1,000 thanks, yeah, and a lot of thanks. There you go. Ooh, that was close.
That was
that was close, wasn't it?
That was the DIS car that was very closely. I think that was Sebastian de Ville, wasn't it? That just absolutely flew past. It looked like the adrenaline car. Might not have been, but that was very, very close. Whoever that was that flew past, that could have gone horribly wrong.
There is your leader then in the LMP2 classes. 164 Satellite Racing, James Juba then leading by around 14.5 seconds at the moment. Ahead of this battle here, we've got Darius Andre in the Juices Motorsport Club car trying to find a way past the 94 Burst Esports Gooder Sunglasses car as they now make their way in towards turn 1. And well, they have to be careful as well because Nabil Aslan is not too far behind, about 6 seconds back. So that's something they're going to have to really watch out for. Are we going to get a replay here? I think we are. James trying to replay. It's trying. It's chugging along, and we'll see what the replay is going to be. The replay might be slightly napping.
Yep,
which is a shame, but
that doesn't look very happy.
No, it doesn't look like a very happy replay.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, Kieran. Another car in trouble is the 53. The Musto Pescara was fourth in the GTE class, has come to a halt. Heros Mussolini now. I did it again. Miscili. I won't get that right. Is disconnected. There's another one that's fallen by the wayside. Now, it looked like it was somewhere around turn 1 where that yellow flag was brought out, but that car is now back in the garage. Oh dear, oh dear. So that's another of the GTE cars in trouble.
Good at all at the moment. Yeah, Eros Mashuli in the 53 Musto Pescara machine. Currently disconnected. That's why we've got the yellow flags out there in Sector 1. Let's say he's back in the garage, but it's faded at the moment, meaning that the car, well, it might be in the garage, but there's not a driver in it. So that's a big concern for 53 Musto Pescara because they were really looking to try and build on the last couple of rounds. Standings to be, it's not been a great time. They got 12 points at Monza, but they didn't finish at Matsusaka. They got 2 points on the board at least, but yeah, that's not ideal for the 53 Musto Pescara team. They would have been wanting and hoping for more than that, for sure.
Very, very true. And look at this pack going on there. So we're looking at Henri Coya on the back of the Gadget Hooten car that he has been for a while. Oh, that looked a little bit close. Oh no, it was too close. That's the adrenaline car that's made contact with some.
Oh, there's more.
Oh no, it was the Viaducting car that was involved in the initial impact. That's Henri Coya that's been sent into the wall now. Oh my goodness me, that got very lively very quickly. So the Viaducting car is up and running again. That was the DPI car that we saw at the top of the shot. And then, unfortunately, Henri Coya got a little bit caught up there. Oh dear, oh dear. That's the Teleforeningen car that's being chased by the 32 McLaren, as we're riding on board with the 6th place GT3 car, chasing off after Brenigard. We heard from Gerd Nielsen earlier on. Oh, and there's one of the burst cars coming past us.
That's what I love about riding aboard with a GT car, because you're never quite sure, they'll slightly miss an apex. You think, slightly missed the apex. No, there comes an LMP, there comes a hypercar right up the inside, and even coming in towards some of these braking zones, there's just, there's the pop of the nose of a production car.
Surprise!
Surprise! I think it's their corner now, they're claiming it.
Very much so. I was wondering, that's Mitty Hoyer that's just gone past us. I'm wondering where Jimmy Nusler was. He's in the pits is where he is, but there's a scheduled stop for the 64 car, or what it would appear to be, because he's still in the car. So not a problem for the 64 car just yet. Oh, that looked very close in that camera angle between the 32 McLaren and the 188 Teleforeningen BMW. And we've got a 7-9 car coming up behind them now. That's going to be very, very busy. That's looks like the DPI car that's come up. He'll be on So we're on board with Jimmy Nuttall now. So still second in the DPI class, having served to stop. Tyres changed, fuel, whatever they're going to do. That's Henri Coyer recovering from that spin that we've just jumped past in the Audi. Bit of clean air for Jimmy Nuttall to deal with. Now, is Michi Hoyer going to bring his car into the pit? So keeping an eye on the timing screen, which you spectators can also do, timing.gtr24h.org. You can have a look at the timing screen, see who is where and who's lapping in what kind of pace. Yep, Michi Hoyer is brought in the number 18 Best Esports Simplexity car. So again, it's going to be a charge for Jimmy Nuttall to try and capitalise on that. There is the Gadget Husic car that Jimmy has just gone past. I'm keeping an eye on. Well, every time I look at Michi Hoyer's camera, it's almost like he's looking at us. I'm sure he's keeping an eye on his own chat or what have you, but you've got that kind of quite stern look from Michi Hoyer from time to time. It's sometimes why we say, we're behaving ourselves as well. Something else I've just noticed, something that we can see on our cameras is Arturus Masitis.
I was just about to bring this up.
He's in VR. Yes.
Not only is it VR, but it's a sort of, if you have force feedback on a wheel, this is it in the chair. It moves about. I wonder once he gets up and running, we can get a shot of it in the car. That's going to be the 33 Team Adrenaline car. So that's probably going to be Sebastian Deville ready to bring that car in the next couple of laps or so. But I mean, speaking to Arturus after Matsusaka, it takes a lot out of you. If you think you're driving a car with force feedback, you can feel everything in the wheel. This you can feel it through every fibre of your body, though. The arms, the legs, the chest, everything. It's just fantastic to watch it go. And yeah, we spoke to him last time. He absolutely loved it. He looked exhausted, rightfully so, but he absolutely loved it.
There's been a change in this GT3 order. It looks like that Thomas Brenegard has fallen to the B32 McLaren, so we're not sure who is piloting the McLaren, but he's staying in the slipstream of the black and orange McLaren nonetheless, so he's going to gain a bit of slipstream there. Lap times last time around, 2:02, for the BMW, similar for the McLaren, but the McLaren has showed a little bit more pace. Oh, that is tight. Darius Andre in the Juicy's Motorsport NP2, getting very, very, very tightly compacted there with, who is he around? Let's have a quick look on the chart. So Darius is third, and he is chasing, and that's Rasmus Andreasen in the Burst Esports, Burst Esports Good as Sunglasses car. So that's for second in class. He's going to have the inside line. Sebastian Deville is in trouble. The 33 car is stationary. They're about to find it, I think. No, replay of what's happened to Sebastian Deville. The 33 car is stationary. Nope, doesn't want to play ball either. But he's had to come into the pits. So the 33 car was in trouble. We have got it. So what happened to Sebastian Deville? And tail's gone. Oh, wow, he found the outside wall. Ouch. So, yeah, the tail properly let go, then spat him out into the tyres.
Not great at all for Sebastian Deville. And yeah, that's a very hefty hit. Very, very hefty hit. That might need some repair work at the next stop, and I wouldn't be surprised if he would have brought that car in straight away after that, limped it in, just to make sure the team can get the repairs underway. Hopefully you are enjoying the action so far. Don't forget, if you're in the YouTube chat, give us a hello if you want. It would be great to hear from you. Failing that, if you're on Twitter, hashtag GTR24H. You can tweet at us in the commentary box. Let us know what you're thinking of this racing. Maybe you have a question. Chris and I will do our damned best to give it an answer.
Whether it's the answer you're after or a sensical one is another matter entirely. But we do what
your
we
words,
can.
not mine.
I'll take full responsibility for that one as well. As we continue to look at Darius Andre all over the back. As I say, that's the battle for second in the NP2s at the moment. Oh, has there been another notification drive-through for car number 1? That's the Viaducting car for hitting the number 33 at the turn 7 hairpin. Oh dear, that's not a... I mean, a drive-through is not an insurmountable amount of time, but bearing in mind that the day's not gone well for that team already, that's certainly not going to help them. So that's the Team Adrenaline car. So was there damage already that caused the Adrenaline car to be spat out into the wall? That could be an interesting thing. Oh, there goes Andre on the inside line. Oh wow, that looked, from that angle, that looked very, very close. It may not have been, but it looked pretty close. The Burst Esport Gooder Sunglasses team, the number 94, Rasmus Andreasen, is having to work very, very hard. Oh no, he gets a punch in the face from the Unison car. Oh, that could have gone horribly wrong there, but there was a bit of a twitch then from the Unison car that's kind of caught Rasmus a bit unawares there. Here it is again. So Darius is the back of this particular 3-car train, has a look at the inside line at turn 2, but can't make it stick. And that's where, the BMW just caught that apex there on the run towards the 3rd corner. And that's, a little bit of a chain effect. I mean, no huge harm done, but that did give second place to the 15 Deuces Motorsport car being driven by Darius Andre.
Yeah, I mean, there was not a lot Rasmus Andreasen could do about that one. That was just wrong place, wrong time, and the fact that the BMW hit the curb there, unsettled the car and brought it straight into his path, just slightly unlucky. Hopefully he'll have got away with minimal damage, but as you say, what that has done is it allows Darius Andre in the 15 Deuces Motorsports Club car to find his way through. Now, we often say, Mr. Buxton, if you're leading a class, if you're leading a race and we don't see a lot of you, that's normally a good sign. That's been the case for the 585 Aztec Sim Sports by Volante Racing. Maciej Kasperczyk has been doing a fine job out there, just keeping himself to himself, building up an 18-second lead. We haven't seen a lot of him, but that's the reason why. There's not a lot to see. He's doing a fine job.
Absolutely. If you're not caught up in incidents, then we don't see a lot of you. So doing a fantastic job as we now look at Giordano Valeriano chasing the CKR car. So that won't be for position because the CKR is in GT3. That's the 717 Max Bunovic we just saw being tangled up in that particular issue. So still minding their own business though, still turning the wheels and still second in the GTE class. Only 20 seconds though, 21 seconds between themselves and Wojciech Polesny is another guy we haven't seen a lot of for a while. The number 74 GTE leader. Slightly further back row, as you can see, is Giordano Valeriano in the 54 Pescara Porsche. On the, sharing the track with the CKR car, but not on the same lap, but not in the same class. I'll get the right words out in the right order in a minute. But again, coming back to the incredible progress of that CKR car, they are the only car that's quicker than them in class is, unsurprisingly, the class leader, which is Kasperczyk, who, like you said earlier, Kieran, has done a superb job just turning the miles in the 585 car. But as we've seen, fortune can change in a blink of an eye. That 53 car, the Musto Pescara, second of the Porsches, Eros Masciuli, has not returned to track, so that could be the 4th victim of this race. We will see if that car reappears. At the moment, it is not looking good for them. That's the Sem 9 Axle LMP2 car that we are now looking at, currently in the hands of Nabil Aslam. 4th in class, but right on the tail of Rasmus Andreasen. Oh wow, as they nearly collect the 32 McLaren. Darius Andre, has he gone into the pits? Because he was right there, and I think he's, the 15 Deuces Motorsport car, having made that move for second in class, is now in the pit lane, so a pit stop going on for the number 15. The 33 car I can see is coming out of, or has come out of the pits. That's the Adrenaline car, having had that spin. So now Arturas Massitis in VR is dealing with. I'm actually watching his camera, and that's like exactly as you said, that a whole full motion setup going on. I mean, that looks a lot of fun, but a number of hours in there, and that's that's going to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, VR as well, on top of that, is, really gets yourself immersed in there. But Exactly that. It is a very, very exhausting way to do it. And riding on board now with Arturus Masitis in the Team 33 Adrenaline. This is what we're talking about. You think we're going mad. That chair's not moving. No, there you go. There's proof. That chair is moving, and it's moving quite substantially as well. I mean, that just looks so much fun to drive. I mean, I couldn't drive for, the 2-hour, 3-hour stints that these drivers have to go through, but I'd love to give it a try.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of VR. I use VR myself. Not that I'm any good with it, but I use it. My youngsters use it, but I do not have a full motion rig. That I would love to give it a go. And plus, just as we're watching his progress, that's the satellite LMP2 car got very, very loose then. But that could have been nasty. But that does look a lot of fun. Those straps on the seat are not for show. There's a reason why that he needs strapping into the seat, and if he gets chucked around, he does not want to be thrown out of the seat.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's the same as if you have a little bit of a collision, you're knocked forward. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen here. So that he needs those seat belts in place. As you say, they are not just for show. But, Mr. Buxton, we're approaching a top of another hour. The end of the second hour is upon us.
It is indeed. So there's going to be a slight change in the commentary lineup. Sadly, we won't be joined by Yusuf bin Sahel. He's not going to be available for this broadcast. So it's just going to be me and Kieran. He's very kindly given me the option of the first break, which I'm going to take. So Kieran McGinley will take you through the next couple of hours. But as for right now, we'll head to a commercial break. Don't go anywhere, because this race is still going to be just as hot.
The 2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Azatec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the digital snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN.